Good morning there, buddies and boys. Listen to the story. I got a song for y'all there. Oh yeah, we're burning out here in the snow. Dryden, New York, my buds. Oh yeah, look at this. We got dash cam activated. Hello, my friends. This is a car tutorial on how to drive a automatic Ford Fusion, circa 2008. That'll be the year of this video. We are driving straight out of the lot of the new automobile factory. Don't care, buddies. I don't buy used cars. I only buy new cars because I'm better than everyone. So that's why I buy brand new cars only. Brand new cars last longer, they look better, and they smell better. That's all I gotta say. Hello, welcome to the Frazzlog. For today is the 18th, I think today's the 18th. I'm not 100%, so don't hold me to that. And then I'll probably forget the name of this video again, so that'll happen. I had a really kick-ass topic planned, but I fucking forgot it. So we're gonna talk Witcher 3. I finally beat it. I don't remember how many hours it took me, but it took me, I'm gonna say honestly, probably between 30 and 60 hours to do a pretty standard straight playthrough. I did a lot of the side quests, but I didn't do nearly half of probably what the game had. So Witcher 3, man, I'm going into the series completely blind. My fiance gets that shit for my birthday or for Christmas. Blows my mind. I'm like, fuck yeah, the game looked good. I saw all the reviews. Everyone said it was great. It got really good scores. So I went in there with, you know, some positive thinking, like, yes, this is gonna be the fucking good game, good RPG. Been waiting for a good RPG to come out, and needless to say, I was shocked. I actually loved the fuck out of that game to the point of I want to go back and play the other games, and then I also want to potentially read the books, that's a testament to how good the storytelling is. Now, from what I understand, those books they're from another country, so they are translated into English, and a lot of reviewers I've said, well, not reviewers, but I guess just people on forums have said that the books don't hold up nearly as strong as the games do, because the games are made by a team of people who basically kind of borrowed that guy's storytelling and like lore, obviously, and just like basically fine-tuned his writing to basically make better use of his characters and his world. But so Witcher 3, man, I finally played it. I loved it. I'm going to talk about the story just because fuck it. So now The Witcher 3 takes place in this world where it's basically medieval times. It's the aesthetic is more of like a modernized fantasy setting, I would say. It's more I can't think of anything else to compare. It's less like Game of Thrones, like just generic like medieval times. More it's medieval times, but like with a nice twist to it. Everyone's sarcastic, assholey, and pretty and awesome. It's a really cool world. So like going into this world, I had know nothing other than that there's a lot of naked women and stuff like that. But so yeah, I went blind into this fucking game. You're introduced to Geralt right away. You're trying to track down some girl named Yennefer who is connected to Geralt in some way. Geralt. And so you play Geralt, who is I think he's like 40 or 50 years old. He's a witcher. He's basically a superhuman. At an early age, basically these kids are forced into mutants. They use mutagens to basically enhance their body. They make them go through all these trials to become really strong, and basically to weed out the ones that aren't going to be very capable witchers. So in the process, they kill all of the emotion. They kill off basically anything that would hold them back from becoming like the perfect killer. So the game's main story focuses around you trying to find people. So the first person you gotta find is your friend Yennefer, and then after that you both get contracted to go find the Emperor's daughter. And so that's basically Act 1 is basically finding Yennefer. Act 2 is trying to find Ciri, the daughter of the Emperor, and also she's connected to, I guess Geralt raised her, sort of, and also So that's where shit kind of gets complicated. You find out that this group called the Wild Hunt is trying to find Ciri. You and Yennefer are trying to find Ciri before they do. At some point you find out that Geralt was connected to the Wild Hunt, which is the group that's trying to find her in some way. So there's like a lot of details that I'm missing out on just because I never played anything prior to this or read anything prior to this. So like a part of me is kind of like curious, like what the fuck? So wait, when they say this and that, they do a really good job of like sharing stuff from the past, but not like flat out saying stuff that's gonna confuse you. Like it's more like curiosity, because it's like they give you enough information to like build the story up for those details they're not telling you, but at the same time, like there's a lot of stuff there probably. If not, that's really good. That's a really good fucking way of telling the story or whatever, to the point where it seems like there's more story than there actually is. Holy fuck, it's cold. But yeah, with the story, I guess the best way to explain the story format is, it's like any other open world RPG. You pretty much get quests. Those quests take you to different areas of the map. The world map is basically broken off into, I want to say it's like 3 main like countries or whatever. There's I don't even know if you call them countries. I guess they're more like counties. They're pretty big, but I'd say they're more like counties. So you start off in basically this very small little area. The area turns into a small little instance. It's basically the Emperor's Castle. You're only there maybe 3 or 4 times ever in the game. That's where you talk to the Emperor. That's basically all you do there. From there, it goes into Velen, which is a swamp type area. From Velen, it goes into Novigrad, which is like a really booming, huge city, prosperous area. And then from there, it goes to Skellige, which is basically a series of islands that are more like Viking themed, whereas all the other areas are a little different. Like the swamp is very poorly habited. It's just mucky everywhere. It looks like a dirty, grimy area. When it's raining and storming, it doesn't surprise you. You're just like, oh, this looks like shit. But whereas, like, if you're in, like, Novigrad, which is, like, this really huge city and a lot of life, a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's raining. It looks a little different. But, yeah, the story, man. There's romances. There's a lot of NPCs that you can talk to. There's a lot of quests. And the way they flesh out these side quests is great. Like, these side quests feel like almost main missions because they're so, like, I guess just, they're well written or they're well just constructed. They're just really good side quests. Like, even there's a lot of side missions, but they basically break them into, there's side quests and then there's Witcher contracts. And each of those have their own cutscenes. They're all voiced, they're all dialogued. It's awesome. Geralt is the kind of character where you get to pick what he says. So, like, he always has, like, a really nasty, sarcastic tone and really just scumbaggy way of saying things. So it's always fun to watch, like, what he's going to say. And it's just fun. It's good old fun to, like, just flat out be a dick or, just romance the ladies. It's just, the character of Geralt and, like, all of his companions are just really cool people. Yennefer's really sassy, bitchy, but she likes to have a good time. Triss is like a more goody-goody, like, we gotta stand up for the good, we gotta do this stuff, do that. Whereas Trish is more cold and calculating and all that. And then you got, like, Ciri, who's basically, she's reckless, but at the same time, she's got, like, a little bit of Geralt in her, so she's more like, I know what's right, what's wrong, I'm gonna do what we gotta do. And there's this dynamic between Geralt and Ciri of, like, basically, Geralt would, like, obviously the main character is going to be, like, balls to the wall. He's going to go to the ends of the world to do whatever he's got to do. He's got to be there to beat the bad guy. So, like, Ciri, in a way, is kind of like Geralt is, in the sense that, like, she's got to go and, like, save the day. She's got to go do all this stuff. And Geralt, like, kind of sympathizes, like, like, yeah, I get that. Like, you should go do that. That's what's right. But then at the same time, he's kind of like a father figure to her. So he's kind of like, no, you can't like risk yourself. You know, you gotta do all this stuff like that. You can't do that. Like, we can't lose you. That'd be bad. It's really well, like, just really, really well written. It's good stuff. I was surprised. I did not expect this at all. Just the chemistry between all of the characters is good. Geralt's just an old dirty bastard. He's fun to watch. He's a good guy. His story gets a 1 out of 1, man. It's flat out. I give it a good ass score. The sound design is surprisingly really good. Like, obviously the voice acting is good, and the menu sounds or whatever, but the music in this game is actually really good. A lot of those songs get stuck in your head. The battle music, the taverns music, just the ambience in the game, it just gets stuck in your head, man. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the sounds. Gets a 1 out of 1 also. And then finally the gameplay. Talking about that gameplay. So Witcher is an open world RPG, an action RPG. You play Geralt, like I said, who's a Witcher. You have, like I said, the main story, the side missions, the Witcher contracts, treasure hunting missions. And then you have Gwent, which is a card game, a trading card game. So the main premise of Witcher is you have a health bar, you have a magic bar, and you have a stamina bar. It's a third-person action game. So you're going to get into battles, you're going to basically want to dodge, you're going to want to block, you're going to want to parry, you're going to want to attack, you're going to want to use your magic to attack. And what Witcher does is, instead of giving you like spells after spell after spell, they give you 5 core spells. You've got a spell that pushes enemy, like it shoots a shockwave out and pushes enemies over. It's basically airbending from Avatar. You've got fire bending, which is a fire spell. You've got a spell that can put up a shield around your character. You have a spell that can put down a trap that slows anything that goes into it. And then you finally have a mind control spell. So the way Witcher works is every time you level up, you get a skill point, or there's certain items in the world that give you more skill points. You distribute those points into the skill tree, which allow those 5 core spells to grow and become stronger. So at one point you'll be like, your mind control spell will just stun people and slow them down. But once you level that up, you'll be able to actually tell that enemy to go and attack his teammates. So now you go from battling like 1 versus 5 to 2 versus 5. It's just a really good way they did the magic. It's very balanced, and it felt good. Like, there was pretty much a point where all the spells came in handy, you know. Like, for example, the slow trap. It's a circle that slows enemies that go through it, and then like if projectiles go through it, the arrows will just vanish. It vaporizes them. But like, there's certain enemies that you have to drop that force field down because it weakens their affinity to melee damage. So like, let's say you're fighting a wraith. Wraiths are like spectral beings or ghosts. You can't really you can hit them with your sword, but it's not going to do that much damage. So you drop that down, it makes them like kind of manifest, letting you deal normal damage or whatever. And another cool thing about Witcher is he has 2 swords. He has a steel sword and a silver sword. Silver swords for monsters, steel swords for humans and beast creatures and stuff. And again, that just plays right into the gameplay perfectly. It gives you another piece of gear to worry about. You know, you've got to find new silver swords. You got to upgrade your silver swords. You got to do all this stuff. And it felt good. You know, it's something so simple, but like it worked out really good. You know, I'd have on my silver sword, I'd have something that would deal stun. It would also deal, it was steel. Or not steel. It would, on my silver sword, it would stun enemies. It would have a chance to burn them, because I found a lot of the monster type enemies can get affected by burn pretty easily. And then also I would have something else on there. I'd have something dumb, like maybe more damage, like 5% attack damage or something. And then on my steel sword, though, I'd have like poison damage, I'd have fire damage, and I'd have bleed damage. So I could just stack that damage onto the enemies as fast as possible, and it worked out really cool. You have a crossbow, which pretty basic. You just aim it and it shoots. You pretty much only use that on flying enemies that you want to knock them out of the sky. But yeah, the gameplay, man, it's, like I said, an open world game. You explore the 3 countries, and then it all opens up, and you can fast travel between all of it, and do your side quests. You can go track down different things in the world, and it's really cool. There's so much shit. There's so many unscripted events in this world that, like, let's say you're like, you know what, fuck it, I want to get into a boat and just go sail, like, west. So, like, what's out west? Along the way, you'll find random enemies out in the wilderness. You'll find, there's these groups of soldiers that abandon their armies. You can go fight them if you want. You'll find different treasure zones. You'll find monster dens. You'll find caves. You'll find guarded treasures that enemies are guarding. You know, there's just so much. This world is so developed and ready for the player to come in here and just, like, have its way with it. It's awesome. The gameplay itself, I played on the second hardest difficulty, which I forget the name. It's below Death March. Death March is the highest. This was something else. So, second hardest difficulty, I didn't have any problem. There was a couple of tricky areas where I basically had to find a way to dupe it. A couple of the enemies, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but there's a couple boss fights I specifically remember kind of having to, you know, shoot a fireball, then roll out of the way, let my fireball recharge, and shoot another fireball, then roll out of the way. Just kind of, like, very, very small little tactics like that. Kind of, they're not exploits, but they're kind of cheap in a way. Like, a good example is I was a really low level and I accidentally started a quest for the, it's to find a master swordsman, like a swordsmith. The recommended level was like 25 or something, but I went in there at like level 15, so I was severely underleveled. You get to a point where, like, these gang members come out and they, like, corner you, but they're all in their, like, mid-20s to higher 20s, and you can't, like, you can damage them. That's cool about Witchers. You can actually damage high-level enemies, but you're not going to do as much damage because they've got armor. And unless you're higher level and your swords have higher armor penetration, you're not going to do that much damage. You're still dealing some damage, but not enough to, like, kill them as fast as you would want to. So what I did is I got a crossbow, I got my bleeding arrows. I'd start some bleeding damage, and then I would just shoot fireball and roll. And I did this on all of the enemies. I was able to complete a really high-level quest at a low level. It's small things like that, where it's like they give you a chance. Like, if I was really good at dodging and countering, I probably could have even just meleeed my way through that fight. But because it is my first playthrough, I wasn't really ready for that kind of a challenge yet. So it's really unique in that way. Because a lot of these RPGs like Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout, they don't let you go into those high-level areas. They say, boop, you're dead. Which kind of sucks because you're like, oh, fuck, I wandered into the wrong area. But this game kind of gives you a chance to an extent. It's pretty cool like that. What else can I say about the gameplay? There's a really good flow of combat. You get into combat and it's sort of like Assassin's Creed. Your fingers just naturally fall into place. You know, it's all about dodging, and then if you're fighting like a bladed enemy, you're going to want to parry those guys. If you're fighting monsters, usually you use a lot of Fire Blast. A lot of, I never really leveled up my Shockwave attack, but I could see how that could be pretty useful. Stunning kind of becomes obsolete once you can mind control people. It's got really good progression. As you level up, you find more and more uses for all of your other abilities. You know, at one point I was thinking, like, my fire just wasn't doing enough damage. Like, this thing is just starting to suck. But then I started leveling up some of my gear, putting some fire enchantments onto it. And then, sure enough, I was doing 300% fire damage. And it's essentially as strong as, like, a critical sword attack, you know? It's dropping, like 200 to 400 damage. It was awesome. This game blows my mind. Like, it was fun. There was so much shit to do. Like I said, I was probably maybe even like halfway done with the side quest. There was so much more. There were so many exclamations still on my map that I could have gone and done. I did like maybe a couple horse races, but there's like a whole series of horse races. There's a whole series of fist fighting contests. There's a whole series of whole series of just monster contracts. There's so many different lines of things to do in this game, and I did a chunk of it, but I didn't do nearly as much as I could have. But I had a fucking blast playing through this game, dude. I liked it a lot. Gameplay gets a 1 out of 1, so obviously my overall score for the game would be a 3 out of 3. It's as high as a rating I can give a game. It was fucking great. I didn't regret a single minute of it. I mean, the only flaw I could see potentially with this game is the glitches. These are pretty... They're known. They're known in all open world games. I've never played an open world game that wasn't buggy. So bugs, what kind of bugs were we looking at here? We're looking at a couple dialogue bugs where you'll get into a quest. It'll say like go talk to a person. You'll go to talk to that person, and the game treats it as if you never even got to that area to talk to that person. So you have to reload your autosave, takes you back 3 minutes, and then you go from there. You pretty much fixed it right there. I had that glitch. Had a couple combat glitches, a couple riding the horses, and then the horse kind of like, so here's like a normal horse. Horse was like kind of tipped upwards, like its head was like into the ground pretty much. Geralt was just kind of like humped up on its humpty back there, like a camel. Just very small glitches like that. Like worst case scenario, you reload a save. I was making a save every like time I left the room pretty much, so I had a lot of saves. But I don't doubt it. I probably put 60 hours into the game. I feel confident saying around 60 hours. And I didn't regret a single minute of it. I thought it was fun as fuck. Everything in the game just was really well developed. The card game, the story structure, the conclusion, the beginning, the graphics. It was all like presented really, really well. This was a AAA game. And when people compare it to Fallout 4, like I honestly think this game is better than Fallout 4 from last year. I mean, it's apples and oranges. There's differences for sure. The only similarities are they're RPGs. They're both multiple choice dialogues. They're obviously loot based. I mean, you can draw your similarities, but at the same time, this is a very narratively heavy story. There's a lot of story in here. You're gonna feel for some of the characters. You're gonna not feel for some of the characters. Fallout, I didn't feel a single fuck for any of those characters in that game. Fallout 4 is the kind of game that you play for fun. You don't play it for the story. You don't play it to get immersed. You play it to just have fun, which is what a video game's for. But at the same time, video games are also an immersion tool to, you know, it's like watching a movie or reading a book. You get in there and you absorb it. You become a part of it. But Witcher was just a really fucking good game. I can't recommend it enough, you know. It was a great RPG. It was a great Xbox One and PS4 game. And a PC game, you know. It's definitely a must play. If you are into RPGs or action games at all, it is a must play for sure. I can definitely gladly say that. Definitely. I'm fucking tired and I'm cold. I gotta end this video here. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Zoom in on the pimple. Alright, get the nice eyeball. Where's it? There it is. Alright, get that little thumbnail there. Any bugs up there? I'm not seeing any.